That mean we go? Lovely job. Right, thank you very much everyone for joining us for this Cabinet meeting in Gateshead. A huge thank you to Gateshead Council and to Councillor Gannon for hosting us today. We'll be taking our next stop on the roadshow to Newcastle next month, so we continue with the rotation. I'm going to take us through the meeting now. So, item 1 is apologies for absence. I have one apology for absence from Councillor Amanda Hopgood from County Durham, and we've got substitute Councillor Richard Bell in her place, so welcome Richard. Item 2 is declarations of interest. Can I ask anyone if you have any declarations today? Lovely, nice and easy. Item 3 is announcements from the Mayor and the Chief Executive. So just a couple of things from me today. First of all, I want to say a massive welcome to Martin Brooks, who's the Chief Executive of BON, who will be our voluntary sector representative around the Cabinet table. So welcome to you, Martin, and thank you very much for taking up the post. I also want to say congratulations to Councillor Gannon, who has accepted the position of Deputy Mayor for the Combined Authority. So thank you, Martin, and I'm really, really pleased that you're happy to do it. I don't know whether you want to say anything.
No, only to say thank you very much, and I hope I can demonstrate your support and that I fulfill your confidence. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I mean, we've got an awful lot to deliver. We want to be creating opportunity right across our region, and obviously you will hold the position of Cabinet Member for Transport also, which is a very, very big part of what we're doing. And on that, I just want to take a moment to thank Dame Norma Redfern, the Mayor of North Tyneside, for everything that you've done to steer this group through the really complex process of securing this devolution deal and to kind of hold the ship really steady, as well as serving as a deputy mayor for the north of Tyne for the recent years. So thank you, Norma. And I know that you've recently announced your retirement, for which we're all really, really sad to see you go, but want to wish you well, and just we're very grateful for everything you've done, keeping us really focused on what people want and need.
Thank you.
So I don't know whether you'd like to say anything, Norma.
No, I just think at the end of the day, this is exciting times for everyone in the region now, and my one thing would say, let's get on and deliver, and that's full stop. That's what I want to happen, just deliver what we managed to achieve.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I don't know whether the Chief Executive has any announcements.
Nothing further, Chair.
Lovely, thank you very much. Item 4 is minutes of the previous meeting. So if everyone was present, are we all happy with the minutes of the previous meeting? Lovely, and we're happy to agree those. Great. So item 5, appointments to Combined Authorities, Cabinet, committees and other bodies. I'm going to hand over to John Softley in a moment to just take us through this as the monitoring officer, but a couple of things that I would like to highlight. I should have said this at the beginning in announcements. Thinking I have Michael, I'm sorry. So can I just welcome Councillor Michael Mordy, who is the Cabinet member now from Sunderland, to his first meeting, and welcome to the Cabinet, as well as new substitute members who aren't present here today because we've got substantive members, but Councillor Kelly Checker, Alexander Hay and Jane Carter will be new substitute members. I've already mentioned that Councillor Gannon will hold the post of Deputy Mayor, and other than that I'll hand over to John to take us through the rest of the appointments, please.
Thank you, Mayor. In terms of the other matters to be covered in the report, Cabinet is asked to agree the allocation of portfolios of Appendix 1 and the schedule of meetings, which is in Appendix 2. Paragraph 1.2 of the report sets out the process to appoint the representative of the community voluntary sector. As you've heard, it's proposed to appoint Martin Brooks, who is the new Chief Executive of BON. In a similar vein, Cabinet is asked to authorise the Chief Executive to carry out a review of the business board and bring back a report with proposals to a future meeting. Then in terms of other matters in the report, Section 2 deals with the membership of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee. This must reflect political balance across the region as a whole, and the membership is set out in Appendix 3. As also set out in the report, it is proposed that Councillor Colin Ferguson is appointed as Chair. Section 3 of the report deals with the membership of the Audit and Standards Committee. Again, this must reflect political balance, and the membership is set out in Appendix 4, and I think there is an update to that in that I understand Councillor Alison Smith is to be a substitute member for Sunderland. In terms of the chair of this committee, it has to be an independent member, i.e. a co-opted member, and following an advertisement and interview process, it's proposed that Willis OBE is appointed to this role. Section 4 of the report covers the role of the independent persons for the standards regime. Again, we've carried out an advert and interview process, and it's proposed that Eric Richards is appointed to this role. Now, as is mentioned in the report, both Mr. Willis and Mr. Richards held similar positions with the North of Tyne Combined Authority. And finally, Section 5 of the report relates to appointments to the various boards and committees that Transport for the North, which is the transport body for the Northern region. They are as set out in the report, with an update in that the scrutiny committee member is to be Councillor Colin Ferguson, and the substitute member is to be Councillor Tracy Dixon. That was everything I had to say on the report.
Lovely, thank you very much. Any questions or comments on the report? Lovely, and do we agree all of the recommendations? I'll take them all together if that's okay.
Great.
Excellent, thank you very much. That's great. So, item 6 is North East Devolution ratification and next steps. So, I guess this is the exciting section of the agenda today for us. We obviously would have escaped anybody that we are in a pre-election period once more, and so this is somewhat slimmed down an agenda. We've got an awful lot of really exciting stuff still to come when we get out of the period and welcome the government back to the table. But this report allows us to approve the Trailblazer deal. Just like last month, I'm going to start by just saying huge congratulations and well done to colleagues around the table for getting this deal over the line, for getting it done for getting it done with government under challenging political circumstances, against the backdrop of changing ministers and against the backdrop at times of a pandemic as well. It is ambitious. It is a good deal. It's a good start, but we know that there's an awful lot more to do. And where I'd like us to get to now is that until we're discussing further devolution, another deal with government, going after more powers into the region, more opportunity to make more of our own decisions, I want us to stop talking about a deal and start talking about the opportunity that we want to create, because that's what we're here for. This deal is a great vehicle for us to do that, to create opportunity across our region for everybody, to take a brilliant North East and make it even better. And as I've said, it is a great start, but I do believe that we are capable of more. We know that people want to have more of a say over their own future, and to be able to hold us to account for creating that opportunity, for fixing our public transport system, for building more housing, social housing, creating more jobs and upskilling the people right across the North East. So it's a great start, and within it there are some really big opportunities for us, not least £25 million of investment in Crownwork Studios in Sunderland, which helps us to fulfil some of that ambition around creating jobs, foundational economy jobs in film and screen, really taking a lead in that crucial industry. Investment into Sunderland Riverside and Forth Yards to create more housing for people and to help us tackle that housing crisis and make sure that more people have a great place to live in our region, as well as £5 million of funding for Health Innovation Neighbourhood to again build more housing, to continue with that fantastic research about how we tackle those health inequalities in the region, and crucially, how we use all of this to tackle the child poverty that blights too many lives. So although we are slimming back what we're doing today because of the pre-election period, I do think there's some really exciting things in there. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Henry to take us through any more detail that we need to discuss in the report.
Thank you. So I don't have too much more to say. That was a really good and full introduction to the report other than to say the reason why this is coming here now and it's time critical is about ratifying that deal, essentially so we can do what Dame Norma said at the outset of the meeting, which is get quickly into delivery. So that's the reason why we're doing this now. You've set out some of the key themes in there, which are really fundamental to not only deepening our powers and funding platform as a region, but making progress on things that hold back growth, things that hold back social infrastructure within the region. So it gives us a really good platform to start delivering, start making an impact. The last thing I would say, just to add my thanks collectively to the political team, to the chief executive team, to colleagues across the region for putting in a real shift to get this negotiated. I'll leave it there, Chair.
Excellent, thank you. Would anyone like to add anything?
If Cabinet approved this, I think the business sector will get entirely behind some of the priorities that you wish to set out here. Businesses will invest when they know there are clear ambitions and plans and certainty. And I think that we're really at a stage, Mayor, when we have certainty, you're setting out your priorities. I think that will leverage in further money from businesses, particularly around some of the new and emerging sectors. Obviously, I'm going to mention Crown Works and Sunderland, but if you think up and down the coast, some of the sectors emerging there that are newer to us and will give us distinctiveness. But I think there's much to welcome here, and I think it will land very well with businesses who now feel great. We see the area and direction of travel. We want to work with you on this.
Any other questions? I mean, you know, to take that, I completely agree with you, and you know, the conversations that I've had, not just with businesses, but with people who really want to see this make a difference to their lives. You know, creating those all-important jobs in those sectors across our region. We've got an unrivaled opportunity with green energy here, and you know, we can really to bring investment. You know, we're going to have a very clear regional industrial strategy that identifies how and where we want to invest in order to be able to create jobs. And I think what's really clear from all of the discussions with Cabinet is that we're very united on the fact that this is about creating opportunity, you know, about closing that gap of inequality, not just between the north and the south, which is really clear, but also within our region, bringing down that child poverty level and crucially negotiating straight away, as we already are, with an incoming government, regardless of who that is, about what's next for us in the North East. So with that, is everybody happy to agree the recommendations in the report? Excellent, thank you very much. Right, item 7 is early funding decisions and investments. And in a way, you know, this is the one that's most affected by the pre-election period, because I don't think that there's anyone sat around this table, in fact around this room, who doesn't want to move faster in order to deliver for the people of our region. And on here we've got some really time-sensitive decisions that we need to make that really show early delivery against our priorities, early delivery against my manifesto, that is showing how we are really supporting people across our region. And so despite the fact that we will have an awful lot more to say in July, an awful lot more decisions to bring forward that will really make a difference, there's some really big things that I do want to highlight here. So we're looking at 17.635 million for the provision of zero emissions buses. You know, we've promised greener public transport, and this will see us deliver 95 new zero emissions buses right across our region, serving routes here and helping people to move about more freely. And 3.211 million to secure 92 electric vehicle charging points to really grow that network across our region to support people in that transition. So all of this is very clearly something that I've committed to delivering, that you've committed to delivering, and I think that it shows that we're doing that very, very quickly. And then on that 2.5, just over 2.5 million for North East Green Industries Partnership, to develop that sector in our region that complements the investment that we're making in Crown Works Studios and shows that we are absolutely committed to cultural and creative industries, and to treating those sectors not as an add-on, not as something that's a nice to have, but absolutely is an area where we want to create jobs right across the region, and to really lead on in this country. And so I'm really, really pleased to see that. And then, of course, the commitment to tackling child poverty. Now, in this, there's 2.4 million of investment, which will go into schools across our region, into poverty proofing the school day. However, I want to just say really, up front here, this is a decision that this cabinet have taken to make sure that that provision is there in schools. But this has to be about more than this. It's got to be about more than simply helping people to live better with the poverty they experience. And we will be bringing forward much more holistic and ambitious plans about how we tackle child poverty in future meetings. And I'll be doing that as quickly as possible, because I cannot stress the urgency of the situation and how important it is to our success that we give all children the best possible start, every opportunity that they deserve, and bring down that crippling level of child poverty. Henry, is there anything you want to add to that on the report? Does anyone have anything they want to say, any questions or comments from Cabinet members? Martin?
Yes, just to echo everything you've said. The sort of frustrating thing is that this agenda has been pared down because of the election period. I've got to say, I find these things a bit weird. We meant not to get on with the business of authorities because there's elections taking place. The reality is that we are a cross-party organisation which is working to a unified agenda. Okay, the mayor was elected on a manifesto, and we are extremely keen to get on and to implement that. So what you have today in terms of the portfolio I lead on are two items which are pared down to the fact that we need to agree these contracts today. And they're required to be done today, so they're down on the agenda, and that doesn't interfere with the political process. But they're substantial in themselves.
They certainly are.
Okay, £17.5 million. This is work that's been going on for some years by the Joint Transport Committee, and with the help of officers within Transport North East to secure grants from central government. £17.5 million to procure new zero emission buses linked to your manifesto and to our agenda of tackling decarbonising the northeast of England, and £3.2 million to expand and extend the electric vehicle charging network. This is only a fraction of the agenda that we want to put forward. This is only a fraction of the manifesto that the mayor was elected on. These are here today in front of us by necessity, because the contracts need to be approved. I can't wait for next month for the rest of the agenda, so we can get on and implement that manifesto.
Thank you. I mean, 17.635, I think we can probably say just under 18, can't we? Anybody else? No? Excellent. And I agree with that. And I think it's really important to know that in the background we are absolutely doing the work of getting these things lined up to really improve that transport network, to create those jobs, bring that investment, and do all of the things that we've committed to doing in that manifesto in these priorities, because it is crucial, and we really want to be cracking on with business. So with that, is everybody happy to agree all of the recommendations on the report?
Very
Fantastic, thank you very much. Item 8 is the North East Combined Authority Equality Objectives. Now, this is actually in many respects something that we want to be spending more time on. And so what we have here is an interim series of equality objectives that will, take us through a period where we do a wide consultation in order to establish our equality objectives as an authority. So I'll hand over to Henry with that to take us through them.
Thank you, Mayor. So it's a pretty simple but really important report, and we take this seriously as an authority. Clearly, it sets out a series of equality objectives which we are required to have, as the Mayor just said, as a combined authority, and which we also want to have. They're set out in the table in the report, and they cover our role as an employer, our role as a commissioner and an investor, which is really key in the region, and they talk about the civic leadership role that collectively the cabinet play and that we support. Clearly, as you said, Mayor, the intention is to undertake a pretty robust period of co-production, engagement, and also evidence gathering, actually, but,
Yeah.
to make sure that we are setting long-term objectives in the right way, and we'll come back at next year's AGM to set those long-term objectives.
Fantastic. Is everybody happy to agree? Okay.
Great,
Good. And we'll be coming back with something more thorough next year. Thank you. Item 9 is North East Combined Authority borrowing powers. So obviously this paper is there to help us to unlock one of the key powers that we have as a combined authority, which is to borrow in order to invest, in order to create that opportunity and to complement our investment plans in the region. So I'm going to hand over to Janice to take us through the paper and the intricacies of it.
Thank you, Mayor. As the paper sets out, it was always envisaged that the combined authority would secure borrowing powers for its non-transport functions, as well as the borrowing powers that are inherent in the statutory instrument to create the authority. However, there's a process required to be gone through by government to create a statutory instrument that gives us those non-transport borrowing powers. Therefore, this report is asking for consent that the authority would be happy that that moves forward. I guess alongside that, one of the aspects of having those borrowing powers is we have to agree a borrowing cap with Treasury. And at this point in time, we're proposing that we set that cap at 50 million, which is the estimated borrowing we built into this current year's financial plan. Obviously, we will continue to do work on a longer term borrowing position associated with the proposals and the plans moving forward. But in the first instance, I will propose 50 million for this financial year. So really, it's for Cabinet to consider the authority that we give the consent and progress with the next steps in terms of the borrowing powers, which obviously now won't be laid even until after the next election.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions or comments on the report? Are we happy to agree the recommendation?
Agreed.
Thank you. We're sticking with Janice for item 10, which is the former North East Combined Authority Statement of Accounts 2022 and 2023.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, an interesting scenario on the back of the Combined Authority coming into an existence on the 7th of May, prior to, if you like, to the conclusion of the former North East Combined Authority's statutory accounts being signed off by external audit. So we're here today to present those audited accounts alongside Gavin Barker from Mazars, who is our external auditor, to consider the audit completion report. To give Cabinet assurance, I obviously work very closely with the former North East Combined Authority Section 73 officer, Paul Darby, so I'm very comfortable from my point of view of being able to sign off the accounts for the former NECA. And we have Gavin here today to give a quick update on the audit completion report.
Gavin, welcome, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Janice. I'll be quite brief. We have two reports on the agenda. The first is our audit completion report for 22-23. As Janice has explained, we weren't able to complete that before the former North East Combined Authority ceased to exist. I think I just need to explain that delays are nothing really to do with the arrangements that the former North East Combined Authority had in place. If anything, they were more to do with our arrangements. There are large backlogs of audits being delivered, and that is the reason for the delay. The authority actually produced a really good quality set of financial statements, and as always, were well supported by supporting evidence. Everything that we need to report before the accounts are approved are included in the audit completion report. I don't think there's anything specific that I need to draw to the attention of the Cabinet. When the accounts are approved and signed, Janice provides us with a signed letter of representation. We intend to issue our unqualified audit opinion today. Our audit opinion is unqualified. It does draw attention to the fact that the previous combined authority ceased to be on the 7th of May, and how it was still appropriate to include and to prepare the financial statements on a going concern basis because the order provided for the transfer of all the previous authorities' functions to this authority. That's all I wanted to say on the audit completion report. Our second report is the auditor's annual report for 22-23. This is a draft report. The reason it's a draft is we can't finalise it until we issue our audit opinion. As we're issuing our audit opinion later today, we'll also finalise the auditor's annual report today. The main purpose of this report is to provide our commentary on value for money arrangements, the arrangements to ensure economy efficiency and effectiveness in the delivery of services. The criteria we look at are financial sustainability, governance arrangements, and improving the 3 E's of economy, efficiency and effectiveness. We don't give an overall conclusion, we would rather report by exception. So if we were to identify a significant weakness in the previous authorities' arrangements, we would report that as a significant weakness and make recommendations in relation to it. I'm pleased to report that we didn't identify any significant weaknesses. The report includes our commentary on the arrangements that the authority had in place for the 22-23 financial year. It also includes a report, a summary of our very reasonable final audit fees. There's nothing else I wanted to really draw to the attention of members of the cabinet today. That sort of concludes everything I wanted to say, but I'm quite happy to listen to any comments that members may have, and I'll seek to answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I never thought the most controversial point of the day would come from you. Thank you very much. Janice, are you happy?
Happy, yes, to recommend the accounts for approval.
Are we all happy to approve the account?
Great.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for attending the meeting. Okay, lovely. Item 11, devolution of the adult education budget. Now, this is a really big piece for this combined authority. Obviously, the post-19 education budget is something that really does enable us to get into a position to support people to build their skills right across our region, to help fulfil those skills gaps, to grow our skill base, to help people get into jobs and to create employment and opportunity, which is really, really key. I know Councillor Dixon's been working really, really hard on this, and so I'm going to go over to her to present the report. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor. And you're right, there's an awful lot of work that has gone into this over the last number of months, and a huge thank you to officers for the support and to get us to where we are at present and how we can move forward for the residents and the region. So, the devolution of the adult education budget provides the region with the opportunity to proactively match the skills and training on offer to the jobs available now and in the future across the region. We can now make commissioning decisions on an area focused and forward-looking basis. Over time, we will be able to make full of the freedoms and flexibilities afforded by devolution in relation to funding rules, rate and eligibility criteria, which will enable us to respond quickly to any changes in the labour market. Some initial flexibilities have been proposed in this report will improve learner confidence, mental health and well-being, remove barriers to learning and will provide resources to ensure this investment is accessible to all of our residents. We will work with providers to specialise their provision to meet the needs of our region, and we will effectively support all of our residents within all of our communities who may need additional assistance to access learning or employment. The adult education budget funding is part of a wide package of investment in reforming skills, education and inclusion being developed by the combined authority, and our role as commissioners for this funding will enable collaboration with national and regional strategic partners to align this investment with other funding for skills activity. The principal purpose of the AEB is to engage adults aged 19 and over and provide them with the skills needed for entering and sustaining work and apprenticeship or further learning. The courses funded by the AEB are from entry level up to level 3, which is an A-level equivalent. In addition to sector-specific courses, the AEB also encompasses on a range of statutory entitlements for learners, which will include digital, maths, English and English for speakers of other languages. The funding also invests in informal community learning activity with a range of courses designed to engage residents, build confidence, again improve health and well-being, including mental health, and break down barriers to learning and work. Delivery of the AAB will commence on the 1st of August 2024. However, the process of devolving the AAB began in early 2023, and since then there has been a significant stakeholder engagement and robust data analysis to inform the process, recommendations and proposals set out in this report. The large stakeholder engagement event took place in July 2023, where all interested stakeholders could come to find out more about our early plans. A further large stakeholder event took place in November 2023, where we set out in more detail the CEA's commissioning approach to AAB and the process providers needed to follow to secure funding. This is also alongside had ongoing dialogue with the Department of Education, stakeholders, providers and residents. The commissioning approach we have taken will allow us to make an immediate and positive impact on the provision offered to the North East residents, while minimising the risk to continuity of provision in the region. There are some positive messages emerging from analysis of the proposed delivery plan submitted by providers, which illustrates provisions will be consistent with the authorities' priorities. The high-level analysis of proposed provision is included in Appendices 6 and 7 of the report, which sets out that the investment will create about 93,000 enrolment opportunities across the region, which is an increase of over 25% when compared to AY 2021-22. Over 24% of the enrolment opportunities are in formal community learning activity, which will build confidence, improve health and well-being, and break down barriers to learning and work. Providers have set out that they will utilise a range of community venues to deliver their community learning activities to ensure that this funding can be targeted where it is needed most, ensure provision is flexible and accessible for residents and communities outside of urban centres. There is a significant increase in digital entitlement opportunities compared against AY year 2021 to 2022. There is a 20% increase in full level 3 programmes for 19 to 23-year-olds, and there is a significant focus on support for unemployed residents with programmes offering skills for work in our key sectors, including the low carbon economy. And there is finally also a good geographical spread of proposed provisions, and once launched, the delivery data will be analysed by ward level to ensure that enrolment opportunities are being undertaken by residents in our most deprived areas, to ensure that the investment is reaching residents mostly disadvantaged in terms of poverty and skills. It should be noted that the progress of commissioning the devolved AAB will have an impact on the pre-devolution provider base, and this has resulted in representations being made to the Mayor, MPs and leaders about the commissioning process. Devolution is a catalyst for change in approach, and some degree of disruption is an inevitable consequence. This representation is additional into ongoing consultations with residents, providers, stakeholders and partners, has been fully considered and has been informed by recommendations and transition options set out in the report. Cabinet have been provided with full details as part of this agenda item and had the opportunity to fully consider this to help inform the decisions that we will make today. Following the launch of the devolved AAB on the 1st of August 2024, the impact of the delivery on our residents and communities will be monitored closely. Delivery data received from the provider base will be analysed to assess the reach of the AAB provision and demographics of participants. To support this, a learner survey will be launched during the first quarter of AY 2024-2025 to gain residents' feedback on accessibility to the offer. Following our collaborative and evidence-based approach will inform future commissioning criteria so that we can continue to secure the best possible impact and positive outcomes for our residents. I'm delighted to bring this paper to Cabinet, which sets out the robust process taken to devolve the adult education budget to the North East, the positive impact it will bring to our residents, communities and businesses in the first year, and our ongoing commitment to maximise the opportunities of this funding in consultation with all stakeholders. Mayor, there's a number of recommendations within the Cabinet report, so I'm going to hand back over to yourself.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Councillor Dixon. Thank you for being the first in the hot seat with the portfolios, and we really, really appreciate all of the hard work. Any questions or comments from other Cabinet members?
I just want to comment on the fact that the Councillor Dixon talked about monitoring. What's that mean? Because if we're really going to make a difference, we have to ensure ourselves that this is going to be quality work that's going to be delivered. Because the only way we're going to change lives, right, for these young people and people afterwards is to have some quality delivery. So that's our, I'm just pleased that we're going to monitor. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? No. Well, as Councillor Dixon says, this allows us to make pretty immediate changes to support people to help build their skills, to do that more locally based in communities, to remove some of those barriers created from people having to travel into our city centres. It's got to be about the villages and towns as well as the cities, and to allow us to be really nimble in the skills that we're providing, particularly when we're looking at growing the opportunities that we have in green jobs, green houses, in digital and culture and creative industries, and in our foundational economy, to make it really there for everybody, so that they can help, to create, to build those skills, regardless of how far somebody might be away from the labour market. There'll be no surprise to anybody here that, again, I think that we can be doing more, and I hope that we'll be coming back discussing post-16 skills, so that we can support people with a range of different options as they come out of formal education. And to Mayor Norma's point, this cannot be about just bums on seats, the number of people we train. It's got to be about the outcomes. What is it doing to create opportunity and improve people's lives? And it's great to see all of that in these plans. And of course, we'll have all seen in recent days in the news childcare being a real issue. We know that can be a barrier to a lot of people taking up skills training, taking up work, and it's something that's very, very high on our agenda, as well as the need to bring more workers in that space to fulfil the ambition of broadening universal childcare for people. So with all of that, with the information in the paper, with a huge amount of hard work undertaken by Councillor Dixon and the team there, are we happy to agree the proposals?
Great.
Thank you very much. That's excellent. So item 12 would see us exclude the press and the public, but you'll be pleased you can keep your seat for the moment, because the Cabinet have had a discussion and we are comfortable with all of the confidential appendices that are included in item 13. And so with that, I'll just go to the final item, which is any concluding remarks. Does anyone have anything they'd like to say, any other business? And in which case I'll see you all in July. Well, I'll see you all before that, but in July in Newcastle. Thank you.